Hey YouTube, just wanted to do a video on the debadging process. I know a lot of people putting out some hate when they thought I debadged it before. It was just actually just plasti dipped, but now I'm really going to debadge it, and it's part of the process of customizing the bike. It's a new paint job. I'm repainting the tank, and so I want everything to match. So here is how I'm going about removing all the stickers, and they are just stickers, so stickers are replaceable. So here's me removing the tank and the side pieces. You can see right here in this video or this picture, they are still plastic dipped. And you can kind of see the lines from where the stickers are underneath them right now in this picture. And here's what the bike looks like taken apart. It's got, you can see where I got a CO2 canister strapped in there for my blowout kit and a couple things, like a little panel that goes underneath the seat with a couple things underneath it to aid me if I ever have any issues. It's hard to find places to stash things on this bike. And here emptied out the remainder of the gasoline in the tank. You can see one of the reasons I didn't like the plasti dip so much is every time I spilled any gas on it, it made a terrible mess. It dissolves it. You can let it dry, but it'll always leave a stain. So here's peeling off the plasti dip off the side panels. You can see the Continental GT sticker underneath there. Plasti dip came off really easily, and it should, because there are multiple layers of plasti dip on these things. So they are fresh and brand new. Alright, here's the peeling process beginning. You just basically got to get a corner on it. And one of the things I've noticed about doing this, moving these stickers from this if you're going to do it, is get a heat gun. It'll make your life a lot easier. The side panel stickers went really easy for me. I didn't have a heat gun on those and peeled them up, but you can see the ring there where they're clear coated, so there's actually a line you can feel in the clear coat that I have to sand out later. But use a heat gun, especially on the tank. You can see I have the ice queen underneath there. The sticker on the tank, I spent a lot of time trying to scrape with a razor blade. It just kept chipping and stuff, and it was not a good time. As soon as I broke out the heat gun, that sticker just peeled right off, and it was super easy. So I spent as much time on the first couple inches of that stripe as I did the whole entire rest of it. So there's my ice queen, all de-plasti dipped. You can see in the plasti dip there's like different colors of plasti dip too, because I never took any off before I repainted it or re-plasti dipped it. Got a toothbrush out to get the hard parts of the plasti dip. Scrub a little bit on some of it. That's where the tank bolts on. And right there is a dent that's in the bike tank. I knocked it over in my garage when I was working on it, and I was really angry with myself, but it left this little dent, and I thought it was way worse than that because it really ripped up the plasti dip. So the first thing I was going to try and do was this was a Dent Repair Kit, and it's basically hot glue. You glue one of these little plunger things onto the dent, and you pull it off. I went through 2 sticks of the glue. It made almost no difference to that little P-shaped dent, but it did actually take out another dent that happened at the same time when I knocked the bike over. It was a really shallow dent. It one-shot at that, so that was pretty good. So, did not have much luck with that. So I ended up going on to use an actual filler, which involves sanding out inside the hole, filling it with glaze and filling it with activated glaze, and then sanding it down, which there's going to be some pictures of that coming up. I took a few while I was doing it, because it went so fast. I should have just done it to start out with, because when I was trying to pull the dent, I spent like hours on that, maybe 4 or 5 hours, and didn't get anywhere. And when I used the glaze, the whole like filling it in with putty and stuff and sanding it, that took like 45 minutes total. So here I am getting ready to sand down the side panels. I went ahead and did that. I got some Meguiar's Ultimate. I was planning to paint these initially, but then I was like, well, what if I can just buff this out? So I sanded it flat. Looks pretty rough there. I did a hand buff job, and it did not do a good job. But later, I went back, and I used a mechanical buffer. And that actually buffed them out great. Here's a picture of me trying it with the mechanical buffer. That worked great. So I ended up not having to repaint the side panels. Just sanded them down with 600 grit, buffed it out, came out like glass. Got rid of the. I mean, if you really look, you can probably find where the stickers were, but it looked really good. I was happy with that, and relieved that I wasn't gonna have to paint that. And here's, you can see where I pulled the sticker off the tank. Same indentation there. It had to be sanded down. Use some 600 grit on that. Also, I maybe use 180 and then 600. So there's the glaze stuff I used on the dent. This dolphin glaze worked really good. I was really happy with the results. Dried super fast, super hard. There is the glaze packed in there. You can see I overdid it. You can see where I sanded down around the tank there. They removed the lines from pulling the stripe. And that right there is the dent after it's been sanded. It's pretty flat. You just rub your hand on it. I think I sanded a little bit more after that to take off some of the gunk I left on down there below, but that was it in general. And I knew I was going to be painting the bottom too a little bit. I was initially not going to. I'm like, I might as well just hit it with a little bit of paint. So I just taped all that stuff off. I didn't want to replace all that stuff or take it off and put it back on. So now I'm back to the top of the tank after I've taken care of the bottom there a little bit. And I'm going to hit it with this high build primer wherever there's metal and wherever I sanded there, and also over the repaired spot. And the primer was white, so went ahead with some 600 grit and sanded the primer, smoothed everything out. So there it is after being sanded, and it's almost ready to paint. So you got the gas hole up top taped off. Also, you're gonna need like a little Q-tip to shove into the. There's like an air hole up there near the gas cap. You can only do that. So first off, I was going to get the bottom out of the way. So everything's taped off. Connectors. I did sand it a little bit, but not really hard. And then I was like, well, I'll just spritz it with some primer too. I wasn't really too concerned about the bottom. No one's ever going to see that. And I was just doing this just in case at some point someone could see the bottom from some angle. So there's my light coat of the Rust-Oleum enamel gloss, which is what I was using on the rest of the tank. After that, I went through with 2 heavy coats, and it looked pretty good when it was done. I wasn't really super concerned about it. So now the top I'm concerned about. So here I am getting ready to do the top. Washed it all down, tacked it off, whatever. And this is where I had some problems. So I was using the same can I used for the bottom. Did the top, give it the first light coat. And I think into the second coat of black, it started spraying dots. Like, it just, the nozzle went nuts. And I was like super upset. Not upset, just disappointed, let's put it that way. So, I did say some swear words though. But it started spraying blotches all over. So, that paint job was over. So next, I waited for it all to dry. And I think this may have been the next day. I went back with some P600 grit, 600 grit sandpaper. Wet sanded all the spritzes. You can see there were a lot. Wet sanded so they were smooth. And you can see there was quite a bit of orange peel anyway. And then I went through, after I got everything smooth, I hit it with a light coat of primer just as a guide coat so I knew where to sand. And I sanded the whole thing down with 600 grit again. Get it all smooth and get it prepped for a whole new paint job. Just me tacking it, washing and tacking it off and all that good stuff. Didn't have to prime this time though. You can paint over clear and other paint and stuff, so just gotta rough it up. So there I am with the linoleum. That's 3 coats, or I think 3 or 4 coats. Went really well. One light, like 3 heavy, well, not heavy. It never really goes super heavy. But as you can see, when I was done, a massive orange peel. And also I did the 2K clear coat. Had a real problem with one of the cans of the clear coat. When I activated it from the bottom, all the junk shot out the bottom of it. That was unpleasant. So. But look at that orange peel. Isn't that fantastic? That's probably the worst paint job I've ever seen. So I was like, well, there's always that next step, which is to wet sand it. So, but I got some good pictures of the orange peel. So the next step is I let it dry overnight. Went back, wet sanded the whole thing with 1500 grit to get rid of the orange peel. And you can still see there's some orange peel there as I'm working on it. And basically I could feel the orange peel. That's how bad it was. So as I was wet sanding it, wherever I could feel it, I just sanded more. And so got it all to where it was pretty decent. And now the next step, of course, is the Maguire's uh, compound there. So got the ultimate compound out, got the buff. This was the big test. I'm like, I'm just gonna do a small spot and see how badly I mess this up. So got the ultimate compound. He just put part of the top of the tank, and I was super happy when I saw how great it came out. It was just like glass. I went ahead and did the rest of the tank. And also, I didn't even have to do it that long. I worked on that top part for maybe 2 minutes. So I just went through to the rest of the tank. You can still see there's a little bit of orange peel, but it's not bad. It almost looks like I purposely put sparkles in it. So they aren't like, it was way better. I got rid of 80% of it, and I'm like, that's that's good enough. So there's some shots of the tank back of fixed, and so it's now shiny instead of all dapper and dark. Now it's dapper and shiny. It's also cleaned up a little bit. I took it out and hosed it off. Used some S100, I think, and then some protectant on it. So it looked pretty good when it was done. So the next few shots are going to be just how it looks. And I took it out to ride around and took it to an old filling station that I'd found that was like abandoned. And took some shots there too. So I'll show you what it looks like outside here in a minute. Okay, now I got a lot of hate about debadging. Like, people thought I just debadged it when I plasti dipped it. But now I really debadged it. But like I said, there is a purpose to it all. It needed to be repainted. And now the fun part is I get to rebadge it. All right, so at the end of this, there's going to be 2 pictures of potential new badges. Some of them are Enfield, and some of them are just skeletal stuff. So if you guys want, you can put which one you like the best. You can say Royal Enfield 1 through 5. There's going to be 5 different choices, and then there's 5 different choices of skeleton type stuff to put on the tank. So let me know what you think. So say Royal Enfield 1 or Royal Enfield 2, or Skeleton 1, Skeleton 2, Skeleton 5. But you might have to freeze frame on the new badges. But yeah, I'm not going to go totally without badges. I know which ones I like. And these badges are from Redbubble if you want to get new ones for yourself or whatnot. They're transparent, so they're kind of like a plasticky sticker that you can take on and off. And so even if you guys pick one I don't like and I end up putting it on, I can just switch it out with one I like. So coming up on the new badges, I think are the next couple right after this one. Probably going to do a video at this filling station here in the future. Alright, so there's the Royal Enfield badges. My personal favorites are the top 3. One of those top 3, I think those are all good. And here comes the skeletons and stuff like that. So let me know which ones you want. Thanks guys, I appreciate you watching the video. And hit like, and also let me know which ones you think I should put on.